You ever notice how the people who seem to move on the fastest are the ones we start thinking about the most? It's weird, right? You'd think if someone goes quiet, you'd forget about them. But that's not how it works. What really gets in your head, what really makes someone start missing you, isn't silence. It's transformation. The truth is, women don't miss your absence. They miss your energy, your presence, the way you made them feel when you were around. So when you try to disappear as a tactic, when you go no contact thinking she'll chase you just because you vanished, you're missing the point. She won't miss the silence, she'll miss the shift, the glow up, the man she starts to recognize again, not because you tried to make her miss you, but because you stopped trying altogether. Let me show you what really makes her start to question everything. Point 1. Stop explaining, start becoming. Alright bro, let me hit you with something real. If you ever find yourself trying to explain your worth to a woman, stop. Just stop right there. Because the second you start explaining, you've already lost the frame. You're trying to convince her of something she should be feeling on her own, and that never works. You don't need to send her long paragraphs. You don't need to prove you've changed. You need to be changed. You gotta let your evolution speak louder than your words ever could. Go quiet, but level up. Let her wonder why your vibe feels different. Let her see you smiling more, moving differently, carrying yourself like a man who's not waiting for anyone to catch up. Trust me, she'll feel it. And that unspoken shift, that's more powerful than any "I've been working on myself" text you could ever send. Point 2. Stay where your power is. Yo, listen. When a woman pulls back, most guys panic. They start obsessing over what she's doing, what she's thinking, who she's with. And just like that, boom, all their power, gone. Handed over to someone who's not even around. But here's what I need you to remember. Your power is in your focus. You don't gain anything by chasing her energy. What you do gain is control, by locking into your path, your routine, your progress, your peace. Because when she realizes that you're not waiting by the phone, that you're not checking her page, not thirsting for her attention, that's when her mind starts spinning. You didn't lose her, you just stopped orbiting around her. And that shift, that's what makes her feel your absence. Not your silence, but your stillness, your grounded energy. That's power, bro. Don't give it away. Point 3. Let her feel your absence in the room you're still in. Alright man, let me paint this for you. You don't gotta ghost her. You don't need to disappear like you're trying to make some dramatic statement. That's what insecure guys do. They vanish hoping someone notices. You stay right there. Stay in the room, in the circle, in the space. But you shift your energy completely. You're not cold. You're just centered, not looking her way, not reacting, not waiting for anything. You're laughing with people, you're present, you're alive, but none of that energy is for her anymore. And let me tell you, that hits harder than silence, because she's gonna see you and feel like something's missing. She's gonna realize that what she used to have access to, that presence, that attention, that emotional connection, it's just gone. And you're still right there. That's the kind of absence she doesn't forget. Point 4. Cut the invisible strings. Bro, real talk. You can block her, unfollow her, delete the texts, all that. But if you're still running mental marathons about her at 2 AM, you're not free. You're just pretending. See, most guys focus on cutting physical contact, but they forget about the invisible strings, the thoughts, the what-ifs, the constant replaying of old conversations in your head. That's the real trap. You don't move on by going silent. You move on by cutting the emotional leash. You stop checking her story, not because you're trying to be strong, but because you genuinely don't care anymore. Not in a bitter way, in a peaceful way. You reclaim your headspace. That's the real win. Once you stop letting her live in your mind rent-free, that's when the energy shifts. And trust me, she'll feel that way before she notices your silence. Point 5. Don't be unavailable. Be unreachable. Yo, let me break it down like this. Anyone can be unavailable. Ignore texts, go MIA, disappear off the grid. But being unreachable, that's a whole different energy. Unavailable means she can't reach you physically, but unreachable? That means she can't touch your peace, your confidence, your growth, no matter what she does. You're not just ignoring her, You've elevated past the version of you that needed her. She might still have your number, but the version of you she had access to, he doesn't live there anymore. And here's the wild part. When a woman senses that she no longer has that emotional access, when she can't trigger a reaction, can't shake your vibe, that's when she starts reaching harder. You don't pull back to punish her. You level up so much that the old version of you isn't even in reach anymore. And that right there, that's what messes with her head the most. Point 6. You don't have to move on, just move up. Look man, people always say, you need to move on. Like the only way to get over her is to find someone new. But nah, you don't have to move on. You just need to move up. This isn't about replacing her. It's about upgrading you. You elevate your mindset, your body, your circle, your standards. You start living like the man you were always meant to be. Not to prove anything, but because staying the same would be disrespectful to your own potential. And here's what happens. The higher you climb, the smaller she starts to look in your story. Not out of spite, but because your view just changed. You're not stuck on her. You've outgrown the version of yourself that was. That's the shift that makes her stop and think, damn, did I let go of something rare? And by then, you're already too far ahead to care. Point 7. Your silence means nothing without substance. Alright bro, this is where most dudes mess it up. They think going silent is enough. Like if they just stop talking to her, she'll suddenly start missing them. But here's the truth. Silence without substance is just noise. You can't just go quiet and wait. That's not strength. That's hoping. And hope without action is just another form of desperation. But when you back your silence with real movement, when you're evolving, building, glowing in ways she didn't expect, that's when silence becomes power. It's not that you stopped texting. It's that your energy's different now. Your life's fuller. Your focus is sharper. You stopped being the guy who waited and became the guy she remembers because he didn't. Your silence needs weight behind it, and that weight comes from who you're becoming when no one's watching. That's what makes her feel it. Not the quiet, the shift behind it. Listen, if there's one thing you take away from this, let it be this. You don't make her miss you by erasing yourself. You make her miss you by becoming so full of life, so full of direction, that she starts to wonder how she ever thought she could walk away from that kind of energy. You don't need to manipulate, you don't need to chase, you just need to become, because when you stop trying to be chosen and start choosing yourself, that's when everything starts to shift. For her, for you, for good.